another crime story video. Today we'll be reading Bind, Torture, Kill. But before we get started, I just want to make sure to make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications, so that way you never miss a video. And Discord is up. The link to the Discord will be down in the comment section below. And in this Discord, I might pop in every now and then, say hello. Have a chatting, a room for members, which will be if you're active. I'll create you a member, and you'll be able to see when I'll be making when I'll be uploading. I'll also have a section for announcements, like when I'll be when a premiere will be going live. Maybe some sneak peeks here and there. Never know. And also a section for pools. So like polls, I mean. So if I don't know what type of video I want to upload, I'll just simply say, hey, select this reaction if you want this type of video, stuff like that. Alright, let's get into it. This video. Okay, this time I'm going to tell you about another case where familial DNA played a part, though this one also includes a healthy dose of plain old stupidity. Dennis Rader was a husband, a father, a Cub Scout leader, and the president of his church congregation. He was also a sadistic killer known as BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill, who confessed to 10 murders in and around Wichita, Kansas. Hopefully I said that right. Sometimes in late 1973, Dennis was desperate after being laid off from his job and was out trolling for victims, as he called it. That's when he spotted Julia Otterio, 33, taking her children to school. He was attracted to the beautiful Puerto Rican mother, as well as her daughter, Josephine, who was just 11. They would become his first victims. His projects, he called them 2 months later, in January of 1974. He cut the phone lines at the Otterio home one morning and pushed his way into the back door while young Joseph Jr. was letting the family dog out. Ryder had expected to find just Julia and Josephine at home, but discovered that Julia's husband Joseph and their 9-year-old son Joey were there too. He held the 4 Otterios at gunpoint and ordered them to lie down on the living room floor. He moved them to the bedroom, tying up Julia and Josephine on the bed, and Joseph and Joey on the floor. He decided that since he hadn't worn a mask and all 4 Otterios had seen his face, he would need to put them down. So he tied a plastic bag around Joseph's head, suffocating them, then strangling Julia once he had finished killing the parent. He suffocated Joey also by tying a bag over his head, then pulled up a chair to watch the child squirm and struggle. After Joey was dead, he took Josephine into the basement. That's where he slung a rope over a pipe and hanged her, suspending her low enough that her feet almost touched the ground, and then masturbated as he watched her slowly die. I ain't gonna show that. I don't think I wanna. Don't want to get demonetized, even though I am monetized, but they still demonetize me, and I don't want to get a strike on my channel. Then Rader cleaned up and left the house. The Otterios were found dead by their teenage son when he returned home after school that day. Soon after, the killer was out trolling again when he spotted Catherine Bright. Rader chose the pretty 21-year-old college student to be his next victim project. Lights Out, he called it, on April 4th, 1974. The project was a go. He busted through the screen door of Catherine Bright's home wearing a sake cap and carrying a .22 caliber pistol. Though he stalked Catherine, he was unaware that she had a brother. Who was home with her at the time. Consequently, he tied up both of them, securing Kevin Bright's feet to a bedpost before he began to strangle Catherine. In his confession, he would tell of how she fought like a hellcat. Meanwhile, Kevin managed to escape his bindings, so Radar shot him in the head, then continued to strangle Catherine. And he continued to fight, forcing him to eventually stab her. When he went back to check on Kevin, he was shocked to find that not only had he survived 2 gunshot wounds to his head, but he had managed to run from the house in search of help. Ryder quickly cleaned up and fled the home, running the 5 or 6 blocks back to where he had left his car. In the fall of 1974, Dennis Ryder, a stone-cold killer, started working for the ADT security company. He would keep this job for more than a decade, working to install security systems in the very same neighborhoods he was terrorizing. After the Oteros and Catherine Bright, Ryder would not kill again for almost 3 years. When BTK struck again, his victim was Shirley Van, a 26-year-old mother of 3 who was at home with her children. He told a terrified Shirley that he had a problem with sexual fantasies and that he needed to tie her up, that if she and her children cooperated, he wanted to kill them. Shirley complied, helping Radar lock her children in the bathroom. He gave them toys and blankets to comfort them, then tied Shirley's feet to a bedpost just as he'd done to Kevin Bright's years earlier. Shirley vomited while Ryder tied her down, so he got her a glass of water to try and comfort her. Then he secured a plastic bag over her head and masturbated as he watched her die. Hopefully not a strike, though. Her horrified children saw their mother die through an opening in the bathroom door. Ryder was planning to murder the Vian children. The Vian children just as he had the others, but a geek foe disturbed his plan. Fearing that the police were on their way, he fled the home, leaving the Vian children locked in the bathroom. By the end of 1977, Ryder had moved to yet another project. He called this one Project Foxhunt. And the victim was a 25-year-old woman named Nancy Fox. She worked days as a secretary for a construction company and nights at a jewelry store. Ryder stalked her for quite some time. He found out her name and where she worked. Even showing up there, he chose December 8th, 1977, as the day that he would put his plan into motion. He began by parking a few blocks away from Nancy's home. Then he walked down the street and knocked on her door. When nobody answered, he went around back and cut the phone line. Then broke in through a kitchen door and waited for her to return home. In his confession, Dennis Ryder called this attack a perfect hit. Like some of his other victims, he told Nancy that he was just going to tie her up, trying to put her at ease. Then talked and smoked a cigarette while he casually went through her purse. She told him to get it over with, but asked to go to the bathroom first. He allowed her to do that, though he insisted that she take off all her clothes. Soon after, she came out of the bathroom naked, and he put her in handcuffs, laid her on the bed, tied her feet, then strangled her with the belt. When she was nearly dead, he released his grip on the belt and whispered in her ear, "I'm the BTK killer." As he said in his confession, this made her squirm even more. However, he just tightened the belt again and didn't let up, masturbating as she died. In April of 1979, Anna Williams became BTK's next target. Again, he cut a woman's phone line, broke into her house, and waited for her to return home, and waited and waited and waited. Anna Williams stayed out late with her friends that evening, and it saved her life. Raider got tired of waiting and just stole a few things before eventually leaving. When Anna returned home, she found her house had been broken into and her phone dead. A few months later, Anna received a package containing items stolen from her home, a drawing of what the killer intended to do to her, and a poem entitled, "Oh Anna, Why Didn't You Appear?" Arrogantly, he sent a similar package to the media. However, after this failed attack, BTK went dormant for more than 6 months. Maureen Hedge lived 5 houses away from Dennis Rader. She was a petite woman, I don't know how to say it, recently widowed, whom he'd waved to when he saw her outside gardening. In April of 1985, he decided she would be an ideal project for him. He dubbed her Project Cookie. He used a Cub Scout camping trip as he opportunity to pounce. While everyone slept, he crept from his tent and snuck away. He drove to Maureen Hedges' home, cut the phone lines, and broke in. Reading is exhausting. Maureen was not home, though when she did return, Maureen was in the company of a male friend, who stayed until around 1 a.m. Meanwhile, Raider hid in his bedroom closet while waiting until the man had gone home for his chance. He strangled her, then wrapped her body in a blanket and put it in the trunk of her car. What the heck? That's not what about. He drove to the parking lot of the church where he had been a member for decades and snuck her body into the basement, where he took Polaroid pictures of her arranged in different body poses. When he was finished, he dumped Maureen's body in a ditch and returned to the Cub Scout camp undetected. Vicky Wiggle would be victim number 9. She liked to play piano. BTK had heard her playing one evening while he was stalking her home and dubbed this project Piano. What are up with these names? Kind of seems weird. On the afternoon of September 16, 1986, he dressed in a telephone repairman's uniform and knocked on Vicky's door. He told her that he needed to check her phone lines. So she opened the door and let him in. Once again, he pulled a gun on Vicky. They tied her up and began to strangle her with a pair of pantyhose. Vicky struggled mightily and made a great deal of noise. When she finally stopped moving, the killer rearranged her clothing and took 3 Polaroid pictures of her dead body. Fearing that all the noise might have attracted unwanted attention, he left quickly escaping in Vicky's car. Vicky's husband was on his way home for lunch when He saw the killer drive right past him. Behind the wheel of his wife's car, the car would be found abandoned later that day, 2 blocks from the girl home. I don't know. The police didn't immediately attribute Vicky Wiggle murder to BTK. In fact, her husband Bill was considered a primary suspect for 18 years until Rader confessed to the crime. In 2004, he had written a letter to the Wichita Eagle newspaper. A 62-year-old retiree would become BTK's last victim. Thinking that it would be easier to overpower an older woman, BTK set his sights on Dolores Davis. She lived near a dog kennel, so she became Project Dogside. Again, he used a scout camp as the cover for his crime on a cold January 1991. He set up his campsite and, as before, snuck away while everyone else slept. First, he drove his car to nearby his church, where, because he was a scout leader, he had keys to the building. Once again, he changed into dark clothes and assembled his hit kit of ropes, bindings, and weapons. Then he walked 2 miles in the bitter cold to Dee's house, broke in and strangled her. Afterward, he wrapped her body in a blanket and put it in the trunk of her car, and drove to a bridge where he dumped her body, before returning to camp without anyone noticing. The next day, he returned to the spot under the bridge where he had left Dee's body, put a mask on her to pretty her up, and then took a bondage photo of her corpse in different poses. He later told investigators that the mask was his and that he sometimes wore it himself in bondage photos. Dolores Davis' body was found 13 days later, but he wasn't killing people. BTK would feed her twisted fantasies by sending letters and packages to the local media. Before 1974 and 1979, he sent numerous packages to local news outlets containing graphic details of his crimes. Some of the letters included poems and drawings of bondwoman. One included a doll bond rope with a plastic bag over its head. However, by 2004, the case had grown cold. Then in March, the Wichita Eagle received a letter from someone calling himself Bill Thomas Kilman, BTK. The author of the letter claimed to have murdered Vicky Wiggle in 1986, and he included crime scene photos and a copy of Wiggle's driver's license, which had been reported stolen at the time of her murder. In May, a local television station received another letter, and in June, a package containing a graphic description of the Ontario family murders was found tapped to a stop sign in Wichita. In July, another package was dropped through the book return slot at the public libraries. In October, a manila envelope was put in a UPS drop slot. In December, a package was found in a local park. This one containing the driver's license of BTK victim Nancy Fox, which, like girl, was reported missing when she was killed. Finally, in January of 2005, while attempting to leave packages in a Home Depot parking lot, Ryder was seen on getting surveillance footage driving a black Jeep Cherokee. A few of the packages containing dolls bound with ropes. Then, while responding with police, Ryder asked if they would be able to trace his letters if he set them on a floppy disk. The police responded in a newspaper ad assuring him that they would not be able to trace them. Soon after, February 16, 2005, the town's local Fox affiliate received a package from BTK, which included a floppy disk. And the metadata On the disk, police found a deleted Word document containing the heading Christ Lutheran Church. The document itself was modified by someone named Dennis. A quick internet search tuned up Dennis Rader at Christ Lutheran Church, and he drove a black Jeep Cherokee. Police believed that Rader was their guy, but they needed more than circumstantial evidence, so they obtained a warrant to test the DNA from a pap smear Rader's daughter had taken while she was a student at Kansas State University. Her DNA revealed that she was close batch to the killer. As a result, Dennis Rader was arrested on February 25th, 2005, and charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder. He pleaded guilty in June, describing his crimes in great detail during the hearing, but without an apology. At his sentence in August of 2005, he gave a bizarre, rambling, nearly 30-minute long statement. Kansas did not have the death penalty at the time of the killings. Rader was given 10 consecutive life sentences and is being held in solitary confinement for his own protection. Please, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications. And remember to join the Discord down in the comment section. Also, follow my Twitter and my TikTok. And, like and subscribe. More of these videos coming in the near future. I don't know when. Possibly gonna record a few more videos and get them all edited and ready for uploading. Have a good day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.